I want Sony banned from making any new Spider-Man movie. Like, my expectations for this were already really low. Like, the only reason I even bothered watching this was because it felt like Dakota Johnson was flirting with me.
You're gonna love it.
Then on top of that, I was like, well, at least I probably get to see Sweeney's tits. I love comic book movies. I don't know about you, but I feel like between the TV shows, the movies, and all these new cinematic universes, I feel like I'm at that point where I got superhero fatigue again. So this might have been the last thing I needed to see. We're talking spoilers, by the way. Madam Web is a movie and a character that I knew nothing about, but it was Marvel and Spider-Man related. The press run for this movie has been legendary for all the wrong reasons, and Dakota Johnson is a pretty woman, so I figured, why not? The movie stars Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, Celeste O'Connor, and Tahar Rahim. If I said that wrong, my fault. Like I said, coming into this movie, I knew nothing about the characters, I knew nothing about the story, but what pissed me off the most about this film is that the concept of the movie itself could have been really good in my opinion, but they did such a terrible job of executing. The concept of time is so fascinating to me, so I love TV shows and movies where they talking about time travel, going to the future, seeing the past. So coming into this, initially, I was rocking with it, but literally everything in this movie is stupid. The writing is stupid, the effects are stupid, the fight sequences are stupid. The acting in this movie is so bad. Like, it seems like everything about this film is just flat. Like, I see people keep comparing this to like a CW TV show, but I say at least some of those were good. Like The Flash and the Arrow, for 3 seasons, those were really good in my opinion, and then they just completely fell off. This movie just felt like one of those films that nobody wanted to do. So we have Dakota Johnson's character of Cassie, who's a medic, and we learn that the bad guy Ezekiel was there the day that she was born because he was in the Amazon with her mom when she was researching spiders just before she died. That's a meme joke. So Ezekiel shoots her mother, and then these weird forest people come out of nowhere and they try to heal her by using this magical spider, but she ends up dying as she gives birth to Cassie. So now we're in 2003 and we get a look at young Uncle Ben because we can't let the crowd forget this is a Spider-Man movie. So everything in this movie happens because Ezekiel is having these visions that the same 3 young women are going to kill him, and he wants to stop that before it happens. And this man Ezekiel be scaring the hoes. Like, that whole pillow talking scene with the FBI agent was so awkward, and this is what I'm talking about. They could have just found a cooler and better way to do that. And maybe I'm wrong because I could have just missed it, but I feel like the movie doesn't confirm that he's had visions in the past and they always came true. It just seemed like he was paranoid and being a hater. Kind of like Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, who caused his own downfall because he was being a hater. I don't know what I was expecting, but in the trailer it showed the 3 girls in their suits, and then Sydney Sweeney was in an interview talking about how she made it an emphasis for her character to be upside down. They were in their suits for maybe 2 scenes. This man Ezekiel as a villain was weak as hell. He lost to 3 teenage girls with no powers. He lost to a woman who just got her powers and don't know how to work it. And as strong and as fast as this man was, this man's weaknesses are cars and fireworks. When I think back on this movie, it was so many moments that could have been really cool, but they did it in the most basic and lazy ways. The fireworks scene at the end of the movie could have been cool, but they did it in such a lazy and uncreative way. The climax of the movie, the big final boss fight of the movie, is just Dakota Johnson being like, stop, duck, jump. And this man Ezekiel's getting hit and just flying everywhere. It was 2 moments in this movie that literally made me want to scream out loud. When Emma Roberts' character was about to give birth and her water broke and they were on their way to the hospital, Cassie saw a vision of Ezekiel about to blow them all up, but how did she get there to stop him? An ambulance was called to the neighbor's house to help someone, and she stole the truck. So just that person, and the way that the scene is set up, you could tell that Cassie's gonna hit him with the truck at some point. We just don't know how. I wasn't expecting her to drive this thing through a freaking building, and then Ezekiel, if he jumps literally any other way, he's good, but he jumps the one way that the truck is coming. And then at the end of the movie, they do the scene where the 3 girls are spread out, they're all about to die, and Cassie is trying to save all of them at the same time. They do this bad shot with terrible CGI, and Cassie is just standing there looking stupid, and then her time-traveling semen is just flying everywhere, and she saves the 3 girls, but once again, her body, she's just standing there, and then Ezekiel punches her in the face. It was so many bad and terrible moments in this movie. Like, even the humor didn't work. Like, off the top of my head, the scene where Cassie was trying to climb the wall and she ended up falling, my theater was dead silent. If you're wondering how this movie was paid for, they shoved a freaking Pepsi in your face every 5 minutes, and it was a scene where Cassie left the girls in the woods and the girls wanted to go to the diner. If you look in the background, they built a fire, and when they decided to leave, they just left it lit. Where's Captain Planet? And someone on Twitter pointed out the fact that when Cassie got back to the woods and the girls were gone because they went to the diner, she walked a half a mile to get to the diner. When she got there, Toxic by Brittany Spears were playing, and then that's when they all died. When she got back to reality, she heard Toxic playing on the car radio, so she hopped in her car, she started to drive, she's dodging traffic, she's stuck behind this big ass truck, and she gets there and hit Ezekiel with the truck. So let me get this straight. Toxic has a runtime of 3 minutes and 19 seconds. In her vision, she walked a half a mile to the diner in under 3 minutes and 19 seconds, the same amount of time that it took her to hop in her car, dodge traffic, get stuck behind a truck, and then on top of that, she got there slower in the car. As of this recording, it looks like Madam Web is tracking to make $24 million in the box office, falling behind Bob Marley. I wish I saw that instead. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a critic score of 13% and a fan rating of 53%. I'm leaning more with the critics on this one. I'm going to give this movie a 2, which is a terrible on my scale. And congratulations, Madam Web, you are now the lowest rated movie on my channel. I try to be nice with these things, but it's really nothing positive that I can say about this movie. Like, I'm literally holding myself back because I don't want to do a 20-30 minute rant on why this movie stinks. I'm not gonna disrespect or call the actors bad, but everyone in this movie just felt flat. Like, I know Sydney Sweeney can act, and it felt like she was on autopilot. I love Mike Epps, and even his short scenes just felt off. It was so many moments in this movie where it just felt like they were trying to tug at the nostalgia heartstrings of older people. Like, hey, remember Blockbuster? Remember American Idol? Remember Martha Stewart being arrested? Like, it seems like most of their budget went to Beyonce's album cover being in the background, and then getting the rights to play Brittany Spears' Toxic. This movie was so bad that I honestly feel bad for the actors. Like, Dakota Johnson fired her management team, I think right before the film came out, and she seems uninterested in almost every interview I've seen of her. It feels like she wants nothing to do with this. I don't let people influence me, and don't let me influence you. I don't care if the whole world loves something, if the whole world hates something. I'm very simple. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that look like they're happy to try to dump on this movie. Like, everyone's trashing this movie, but I don't get a thrill or a pleasure out of it because a lot of people put hard work into this. But this is so bad. I don't usually be on my phone during movies because I hate when people do that, but that final scene where all the girls were in their suits, I don't know what was going on because I was in my phone ordering food. I was more focused on ordering tacos than paying attention to whatever they had going on. And on top of that, Dakota Johnson lied to me.
You're gonna love it.
But thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new here. We talk about a bunch of different things on this channel. What are your thoughts on this movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? On social media, this movie is getting slaughtered, but don't listen to me. Don't let me be the end all be all. Like I say with these videos, these are just my opinions. If you love this movie, that's great. If you hate this movie, we are here. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Love you guys. Tell us when you love them. Until next time, see you in the next life.